Welcome back to another episode of Season 5 of the RAG Podcast. As you guys know by now, this is the number one podcast across the recruitment sector globally. And we've always been on a mission to help recruitment agencies grow by interviewing founders and telling their stories of success from startup all the way to scale up and exit. Well, this season we're a little bit different. How do you, as a recruitment leader and founder, maintain your family and friendships whilst being the best person at work? How do you stay physically fit mentally and emotionally? And how do you find time for yourself in the madness? How do you find time for self-interest, for hobbies, and self-improvement? Well, to help you with this, I'm going to be interviewing someone every single week that can demonstrate experience in one or more of these areas. So I'm going to talk to recruitment founders and also some experts from outside the industry who can deep dive into things like relationships and health and well-being. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy today's show. Hello and welcome back to the RAG Podcast. I'm hoping everyone listening is doing well. It is the beginning of March. I'm back from Dubai. If you're watching, you can tell I've caught a little bit of sun, which happens in 2 weeks in the UAE. But I'm buzzing to be back, excited to be recording. And on today's show, I've got an interesting one. It's not the longest episode we've ever had, but I'm interviewing Lysha Holmes. Lysha, you may know, you may not. I interviewed her on the show about 18 months ago. And Lysha is the founder of Key Recruitment and is also the host of another podcast called the Recruitment Podcast, which is sponsored by Hoxo Media. And I love Lysha. She's a friend of Hoxo. She's been through my academy. We've got such a strong relationship. She refers a lot of business our way. And today I wanted to talk about a couple of things. So mainly, obviously I want to talk about what she's been up to in the last 18 months and how her rec-to-rec business has scaled off the back of and I don't mean scaled in headcount. I mean scaled in revenue and performance off the back of her social media work with us. So the things we've taught her on LinkedIn have accelerated her brand, and people all over the world now know who she is. But also, sadly, in late 2021, so in October last year, Lysha's father passed away. And when she told me about it, she literally let me know, I think it was, 15th or so of October, that her dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and he died within 10 days. He was dead. I think he died on the 29th or 21st, of October. And I was devastated for Lysha. And then we spoke about it afterwards. And in the aftermath, what we've realized is that pancreatic cancer is one of the hardest to diagnose. I think there's only 5% of people live to see 5 years after being diagnosed. And the reason is it doesn't show up many symptoms. And we wanted to raise awareness of this horrific disease. And also we're doing something pretty special later this month, in April, to raise awareness and funds. So I want to introduce Lysha Holmes without further ado. So Lysha, welcome back to the RAG Podcast.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me back onto the RAG Podcast. How are you?
My pleasure. I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine. Well, I'm feeling a bit coffee, a bit sick. I did tell you I think I might have COVID. I've got a suspected COVID. But right now I'm all right. I'm still working away. I know it's one of those things, isn't it? When people ask you, how are you? Are you supposed to tell them? Or do you have to say, I'm not bad?
Oh, just be genuine about it. If you're not great, tell the person you're not great. If you're great, tell them you're great.
Very true. Very true. But it has been, obviously we speak a lot and you do a lot of work with us and we sponsor your show, which is amazing. We can talk about. But it has been, it was the summer, I think it was August, September 2020 when we had you on the RAG for the first time. I was in Ibiza at the time. I just left London. My life was in an absolute mess, bit of turmoil. And we connected and it was great. But what's happened to you since then? So how you seem to be absolutely everywhere right now.
Well, that's testament to Hoxo's methodology. It's as simple as that, but we'll come back to that. I know we will. I think it was earlier than that. I think it was maybe July 2020, because I do remember it being really hot. But anyway, that's immaterial. If you think about where we all were, the world was in turmoil. Oh, actually, wait, we are still in turmoil. Yeah. But I think in terms of the recruitment industry, it had never experienced anything like it. Obviously, I've worked through recessions. I've been in recruitment over 20 years, but it had literally, as an industry, we'd never seen anything like it. And I think, if I think what journey most of your audience, which is my audience, it's recruitment business owners, recruitment consultants all across the globe, what we've done is remarkable. The personal journey that we've probably all been on, I think I just have a survival mode, which when you and I were speaking in 2020, it totally kicked in. I mean, it kicked in quite quickly. I think when you're self-employed, I am a solo single parent, I'm the only parent. So I just, on so many levels, 2020, I actually, parking aside, the tragedy of so many people losing their lives to COVID and the mental health pandemic that's come from it, on a personal level, it has absolutely transformed my personal brand. And I am actually really grateful for the journey that I put myself on, including Hoxo. For me, that's why I feel such a proud ambassador for what you do and why I feel really comfortable recommending what the content does for your personal brand. But on a personal level, I just think, I dug deep and I've got amazing people around me. I've got, I think when you go through any adversity, regardless of, who you are or what you do, you surround yourself with the right people, you will get through anything. That's human nature, isn't it, to do that? So,
remind the audience what your business is. So you're a rec to rec, but a bit more about the actual company.
Yeah, so Key Recruitment, I set it up when my eldest daughter was born. So she was nearly 1, 2005. The world was not flexible then. There was no such thing as flexible working. There was no such thing as part-time in recruitment at all. And my employer at the time, who I know significantly have changed this since then, they just couldn't accommodate. I was a senior manager. They couldn't accommodate me coming back part-time. So I created my own business where I could work pretty much around my family needs. And I've always focused on the Northwest. It sounds really parochial, but up until the pandemic, we used to meet every single client, every single candidate face to face.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, there is enough business in the Northwest for me. I was joined by my business partner for London, Laura Dutton, in 2016. We'd worked together in our previous company, and she focuses on London. And
she lives in Manchester, doesn't she?
She lives in Hale. She does. Yeah. She's a Cheshire girl. And she actually moved back, although as we record this now, she's actually down in London. She's now that you can do it again. She's been going back down to London once or twice a month. And then Shannon's been with me. It must be coming up for 5 years, I think. Yeah, 2017. And she focuses on the Northwest with me, but she moved to Leeds in 2019, so she also does Yorkshire. So we're a little trio, 3 musketeers, rec to rec, and we mainly place experienced recruiters. And we just love what we do. We do a lot in-house now as well. The in-house market has gone absolutely bonkers this year.
Really?
I think it's a significant change. I've always done ad hoc in-house, usually when somebody that I've got a relationship with in an agency moves internally. But this year, I would say over the last 6 months, 50% of my own business has been in-house.
I always think that'd be an easier job. But is it? I mean, again, it's just my thought. But like top billing recruiters, or really what everyone wants, I'm like, why would you move if you're doing well? But then there's got to be so many people that would prefer to not do BD and be in a cool company and, say they work for Spotify or whatever, rather than say they work for ABC Recruitment.
There's so many points you just made there. First and foremost, we're always all selling, whether you're doing a delivery role, whether you're doing an in-house role, because we're selling to potential candidates, we're selling an EVP.
Totally agree.
Yeah, being pedantic there. But I think that actually I have placed internally since I've been going, since 2005, but as I say, significant growth within that area, that it's a strategic career move for most people, that they actually want to become part of, stakeholders. They want to influence stakeholders. They want to, potentially look at resource planning. A lot of them actually, certainly a lot of people that I've placed over the last 6 months, they will go down the CIPD route, which is phenomenal. Because actually, when you look at what we do as recruiters, our skills and what we actually do in our job is so transferable and is remarkable in terms of adding value to a business. And let's face it, we are going to be talent short in every single industry for a whole generation. So how we attract talent is going to be absolutely paramount to the success of every single end user client for a long time. So you are a significant part of that business. So I think when I think back to the recession of 2009, 2010, it was absolutely, the in-house route, you were dismissed as a recruiter, you were a failed recruiter. I never subscribed to that anyway, but now it really is a career path of choice. And it's actually, it's very competitive to get into it, to be honest with you. So,
would you say is it an easier route to find? Is it easier to sell to candidates though for you?
Not necessarily, because you are potentially balancing or compromising on OTE. You know, that you would hope that there was still some incentivization for achieving, you know, headcount or retention, whatever the company's problem is. But I think it all just depends on what the person's looking for. I think culturally, it's a very big shift. It's a very big change to do internal, because you are changing what, you know, you think about the recruitment industry generally. Our culture is going to be very different to an end user client, unless you're working for something that's like an advertising agency or a media agency where there's comparables. So big change.
It sounds like you've been, well, I know you've just been busy. Like the thing about, so you joined my program it was September, October or so, wasn't it? With Kyle was on it, Winterbottom, he's done really well. There's a few real crackers on that program. And when you joined, you had all the energy, but I think you were saying to me, you know what? It's just a bit of strategy. You just needed pointing in the right. You didn't need everything. You just needed pointing in the right direction. And now, like, what has the impact been? All the work that you've put into your brand, all the content, all the honesty, all the vulnerability, all the knowledge bombs. Like, you launched a podcast, you've done all these things. What impact how has it changed your day to day, would you say? That's the question I always get asked. What's the point? Like, why would it impact anyone?
So the reason I came on the podcast, because I think it's important to start with your why, is that I knew I had confidence in writing content, and I had confidence in putting myself out there, largely because once you reach a certain age, you really don't give an FUCK. So I know I've got the balls to do that, but I knew I didn't have the strategy, and I knew that I needed somebody to give me the methodology. I am quite a creative person. Actually, I've only found that out in the latter years. And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to bring it all together so that I wasn't just this scattergun, because that's how I felt I was being. I knew I was doing something right, but I knew that there was no method to it. And if I think about those few weeks that we spent on the academy, and I knew I worked really hard, and I would do all the homework tasks, and I would, you know, literally follow your methodology, use everything that you told me to do. And I could even see in those first few weeks the difference in the impact it was having and the engagement it was having. And I will now sort of leap forward to where we are at now in 2020. So I want, if someone thinks of rec to rec, I want them to think of Lysha Holmes and Key Recruitment. If someone thinks about thought leadership in recruitment, I want my name to be up there. If someone thinks about recruitment podcast, I want them to think the recruitment.
Again, what's the point? Like that's a more of a brand awareness piece. I get it, but what's the 99% of people I speak to? They're like, oh, I get that, but why? What's he gonna like? They don't want to be famous. They want to have a better business. Why? How has it impacted the business? Would you say?
That we have, without a shadow of a doubt, a referral-led business historically. We are getting exclusive candidates in a candidate short market that are coming to us, and only us, because of our content. 100%.
They trust you, right?
They literally trust us. And when I see other people saying, you know, where are all the candidates? Where are all the recruiters? You know, rec-to-recs talking about this, counter offers. You know, the way to avoid counter offers, the way to get those passive, good candidates to come and talk to you is through sharing your content. But it does not happen overnight. No. It has taken time. You know, has it taken? I don't think it's taken the full 18 months, but I would say significantly getting, if I look back at ROI, it did take a good 6 to 12 months of continuous, consistent content following the Hoxo methodology. I am now in a position where the level of candidate that I'm representing, I've just placed my biggest fee ever. It's still very confidential. Can't talk about who it is, but this project, he came to me exclusively. Very senior name in the market, and obviously when he is revealed, I will definitely put on there that it came by Hoxo. So in terms of what it's done for my business, is it's ensured that we are thriving in a very.
You're a magnet. You're an actual magnet now. Like, you're not just outbound. You're a magnet for it, and it's great to see. And I mean, I literally, you couldn't pay me to turn my content, my marketing. You could not pay me to do it. Like, it's literally as important as every other part of the business on it. And the market's changing. It's not there yet, but it's changing.
Can I just make one point? Actually, I want to make a really good point that you mentioned, and I want to Paul. You make it part of your daily habit. It's as simple as that. So you're not even thinking about it. every Sunday when I sit and do my prep, I literally write down what my post will be every day. Now, sometimes that changes because, who would have known 2 weeks ago that there would be a war? So, that week it's like, right, we're just going to share, compassionate things about Ukraine. But you make it a daily habit, because we all know that once you form a habit, you don't think about it.
No.
So you don't need to then overthink it, because anyone that is in any job, you have got something to share.
The guys at Vincere, and they want to promote something called they want to help you nail your CRM tech strategy playbook. So they produced a brand new playbook. It's like a bit like a buyer's guide for those shopping around for a new CRM. Honestly, the amount of questions I get about CRMs in the market is insane. And I don't really actually know that much. I used Bullhorn in the past. I know the guys at Job Adder. They're all pretty cool. But the guys at Vincere, in my opinion, are stepping up, right? So they've put together this document that will give you, it gives you an ROI-driven strategy to building out the feature checklist on your CRM. It tells you how to assemble your evaluation team. It gives you some compliance and security tips. Helps you understand integration and all sorts of due diligence when it comes to linking with your finance and other systems. So if you're interested, there's a link connected to this episode. Please book in there. Take the free information if you're thinking about moving CRMs. It's quite technical, but it's super important for you if you want to grow and scale a modern recruitment company. Also, if you're interested in working with them, if you go to www.vincere.io/rag, you will get an exclusive deal as a RAG listener. You just have to mention, obviously that link will show you're a listener, but mention it on the phone as well. The madness of it is like if I look at my own fitness journey, apart from I'm feeling quite crap today, but I've already been out this morning. And at the end of 2021, I looked at myself in the mirror on 29th or whatever it was of December, and I was like, I've had a great year. Like, my life had transformed, got into a relationship, and all sorts has happened, and I've moved, and I've had a great time, and I've properly gone for it, and business has gone brilliant. Like, we doubled the business last year, but I looked at myself and I was like, I'm not the person I want to be. Like, I've put on, I'm the heaviest I can remember standing on the scales, which I don't usually stand on scales, but it's nice to see a number sometimes and think, fuck. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? I spoke to a mate of mine who's basically like what people look at me on LinkedIn. I looked at him because I know he's like, I worked with him 10 years ago and he was heavier than me. Now he's lean, he's in great nick, and he runs every day pretty much. And he does a few other things, but I was like, tell me what you're doing. I realized it was exactly the same as my own academy. Like, it was literally, plan the week ahead. So now, like this morning, I knew 7 o'clock I was meeting him at a park. I already know tomorrow I'm going to be running about 5-6 p.m. Because my brother's here and he's got an injury, and I'm going to go at the end of the day. I'm going to go after the Liverpool West Ham game. Whatever. Like, I genuinely know about 5-6 days in advance now when I'm going for my run. And I went to Dubai for 2 weeks, just got back. I ran every day for 14 days on holiday, which is nuts. And I'm not running quick. I'm not winning any awards. Like, if you look at my times, my business partner walked into London today at the same pace I run. I was like, I am shocking. Like, but I feel amazing, and it's the small consistency. I know I'm never ever going to be the best at anything. I'm never going to be the best marketer, the best recruiter, the best runner. I'm not, but I will be the most consistent. I always was. I always will.
You'll be the best version of yourself. And can I just say, you're amazing. Yeah. There's plenty of people that were saying, Shay, you look amazing, because you do. It's true. It's consistency, and it's the habit, and you are only ever in competition with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the amount of people who look at, like, I've literally just got off a call with a client that I've just said yes. Hopefully, I won't name them, and they said their biggest reservation is going to be that, the customer base, sorry, the leadership level in their business. They're just like, we don't want to share ourselves. We don't, and I'm like, it's up to you. Like, no one's going to force you to do this, but if you're already saying it on the phone, you're already doing it in the meetings, like, just share it. Just take 5 minutes, like. But the good news is it's changing. And I'm not just saying this. I think you've been one of the best examples for us, and you've helped. And I've been able to look at what Lysha's doing. So keep it up. It's great.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody that supports my posts. I do often send thank yous to people when they've gone out their way to share something. I have had some significant posts shared. I mean, usually it is the personal stories that do better. because actually we're all humans and we're all going through something. And I am happy to put myself out there and talk about things that maybe some people aren't comfortable talking about. Perimenopause, half the population will go through it. I'm happy to talk. One of the biggest stories has been my daughter being bullied at school, but I resonated it to the language that we use, thinking about, how we just accept banter and where does it draw the line in terms of banter and when it's actually being cruel to people. And that has had 750,000 views. Wow. And the level of engagement it's had with people private messaging me who are running businesses saying, I was bullied at school and it's never left me. So don't be afraid to share personal stories. I have to commend Francesca at Chrysalis for her
unbelievable
goosebumpy, because I actually cried. I cried when I read that. And the level of impact she will now have with her customer base because she has shared that about herself. I can't imagine how brave she was to share that.
So for the context, people don't know, this is a girl who's just started on the academy, Chrysalis Recruitment, your recommendation, and we encourage, you don't have to, but we encourage people to start sharing more personal stories. And she talked about her battle with anorexia, didn't she? And it's gone viral. It's gone crazy. And, it's insane. But the mad thing is, it doesn't. You said personal stuff gets the most engagement. I'm in the background. I'm clicking on my LinkedIn right now. Right, I posted one day ago. How much time are you wasting on LinkedIn every day? An average recruiter has the LinkedIn tab open all day, and they scroll on the platform for 50% of the day. But almost every agency I ask have no plan to use it wisely, so they're spending all day on it. They don't know what they're doing. So I just asked a poll: do you follow a clear plan on LinkedIn daily? Right. I only got 14 likes, which on the surface, crap. But I got 216 votes and 70, if I click on the votes, 73 people told me their name and wrote, I have no plan. To me, 73 people have just said they need my services. I've got another 77 that said I kind of have a plan. And I've got 66 that say they do. So I've got over 200 people I can now open up a conversation with. Thanks for engaging with me. I've looked at your stuff. You say you've got a plan. I think you need help. Or you've told me you've got no plan. I've got a plan for you. So people don't always have to be like, the likes and the views are great, but actually you could get business from something that gets 5 likes. It's about sharing. If you're genuinely sharing shit that you believe in, that's it. Second sponsor today is District 4. These are the guys that help existing recruiters or experienced recruiters launch their own business. They offer a really, really impressive startup package to take away all the things that you simply don't want to get bogged down with. So back office support, technology choices. To be honest, the things that Vincere, you've got to do yourself, these guys will do it all for you. And they've just signed an agreement with Vincere, so they will find it for you. Launching a business takes a lot of work. Trust me. This is 5-year anniversary of Hoxo Media right now. And if I look back to when we started, now we use HubSpot in a marketing sense, but the amount of work we put in to get the good business off the ground is insane. And whenever I speak to recruitment agencies, there's so much admin and work that goes on. I don't believe many recruiters are destined to be very good at half the tasks. So look, if you think you're ready to launch a company and you want to get going, but you really don't want to deal with 70% of the back office stuff, then speak to them. And I guarantee that you will not waste your time. And that's www.district4.io/Hoxo. Lysha, I don't want this whole episode to be about branding because there's 2 things I want to talk about. Firstly is today is our Hoxo 5-year anniversary. I know it's the show we had a chat about with you, which was a personal story, right? It's 5 years since that for you, right?
It's you're 5 years today. I'm 5 years tomorrow since my Freedom Day, which was the day that my husband of 17 years told me he was gay. Yeah. So crazy. I just can't believe, and I just smile because, we are, even though I'm a solo parent and he lives abroad and it's very, very challenging for me on a personal level, I will forever be grateful to him for his kindness to me in how he came out, in how he then behaved. He hadn't cheated on me. No. In the journey that he's gone on, he's retrained as a teacher, he's teaching English, he's loving life. And actually the way that it's defined my own daughters in how they view the world. And I would not change a thing. And if I think back to my life, literally 5 years ago today, I didn't have a clue what was about to happen in the morning. No.
And it is mad. Like, I look 5 years, March. It just shows like my life is transformed in so many ways. And crazy. It goes quick, but when you actually look at all the things you can achieve in a period like 5 years, Like, I don't really ever look
It's
beyond
a
that.
global business. You've created a global community, and you are literally transforming thousands of recruiters' lives every year. You've been married and divorced.
Yeah.
Become a dog daddy.
I've been married and divorced. I've now got a partner with 2 stepkids.
Yeah.
Well, not officially, but
You're living in about your 4th place, 5th
I'm not
place.
stopped moving. My life's gone nuts. But you know what? I'm happy. And I think you're the same, right? We're both happy. We've both got so much to look forward to. And I quite like people say, where do you want to be in the future? 10 years, 20 years, whatever. I think 5 years is genuinely as far as I can look. So you commented, I'm going to be 40 in 5 years. And that is the milestone. When I started Hoxo, I had a 10-year plan.
Right.
And I said, in 10 years, I don't want to have to work after that. I said, that'll be the milestone where financially, I hope I'm in a position where I will want to work. I ain't going to retire, but I don't want to have to work. That's still in my mind, in 5 years' time, I want to be there. So I'd say we're probably, if you'd have told me halfway down you'd be where you are, I'd have been pretty happy with that.
Okay, I was going to say that's why it's important to have these conversations about, benchmarking and a timeline of where you are and where you thought you were going to be versus, if you just said to me 5 years ago, this is where your life will be in 5 years, I'd have gone, absolutely fabulous. Never would have predicted it. So definitely, I think 10 years is just way too far. And that scares me to death because I'll be So let's just go there.
It'll never come. But today's episode is also, we wanted to touch on a quite a delicate topic, a sad topic, that we want to raise some awareness because sadly, late last year, your father passed away, right? And tell us what happened, if you can, in your own words.
So, Dad was previously, right up until really the last couple of years, very healthy, very fit. Mum has always been a home cook, so never had any fast food. Always walked everywhere.
Yeah.
He's had type 2 diabetes. That's largely because he had a very sweet tooth. And in the last 12 months of his life, he lost significant weight. But very typical of my dad's generation. My dad was 73.
Right.
He, always believed that he could overcome anything, and he was second generation or first generation Holocaust survivor. So he just had this inbuilt kind of resilience that you won't ever see again. Anyone that's from a sort of first or second generation Holocaust survivor, you just won't ever see that again. But of course, we do have to add in a layer of the fact that it's very hard to see a GP, certainly last year and the year before.
Yeah.
So a lot of his generation, we're all probably nodding away. They didn't like using the Ask My GP service. They want to speak to a doctor. They want to go and see a doctor. So my dad was having to jump through all these hoops. He dismissed all the signs, which sadly meant that it was, by the time he got a diagnosis, it was way too late. And it
was pancreatic cancer, wasn't it?
So yeah, he got admitted to hospital because he'd gone yellow, and basically got told it was obviously had a liver problem, and he finally took himself off to A&E, and within 10 days he'd passed away. It was very, very rapid. Pancreatic cancer. Even if he'd have maybe gone into the GP at some point last year, it would have been too late anyway, because the problem with pancreatic cancer is it hides away, and by the time the symptoms are diagnosed, it is already very problematic. And that's actually why the charity, I know we're going to come on to the charity, chosen this particular charity, because their sole purpose is to raise funds for early detection, because that's the key component of pancreatic cancer.
How can you detect? Do you know how you can detect it, other than an MRI scan or whatever?
I'm not. They've since the charity was set up in 2004 by Maggie Banks, whose husband had sadly passed away in his 50s from pancreatic cancer, and she did a load of research into what pancreatic cancer funding there was out there, and actually out of all the common cancers, it's on the lowest rung of funding because it's the most challenging one to treat. So, and that's where she is the smallest charity out of all the pancreatic cancer charities that there are, which kind of sits really well with me, actually, because I like supporting smaller businesses. She runs the charity totally on her own, and trying to sort of raise awareness for this cancer is, for me now, absolutely paramount, because out of all the common cancers, it has the lowest survival rate. Wow. Once it's been detected, only 5% of people diagnosed will live to 5 years.
Wow.
And when you hear that stat, it just makes, I'm just covered in goosebumps right now.
No, yeah, my neck's gone. The crazy thing about finding issues is, you look at your car, you have to MOT your car every year, like legally, right? But yeah, health wise, there's no like, I know there's at a certain age, I think people have to go in to get checkups for things. But I mean, I'm thinking to myself now, like I want to have like an annual MOT. I think I want to do that. And I don't know if you need it annually or every 6 months. I don't know. I'll get some advice, but I think that's the only way I can take control of my own future. Otherwise, I'm just leaving it. My diet's pretty good. I've got a bit of a sweet tooth. I don't drink too much. I exercise a lot. But you hear stories all the time of people that are perfectly healthy. I spoke to my Dr. Ari about it, right? You know Dr. Ari, you had him on your podcast. He's my personal coach. And, I had a bit of a scare recently, and he said, look, probability of you being ill at your age with the health you've got is very low. Probability. So, you can live somewhat comfortable in that probability. But that isn't enough for me, probability. Like, I need to know. Like, and I think, I don't know, like, it's such a sad thing because most people, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have a private health policy. And I know a lot of people can't afford that. I know a lot of people don't have that. And I know the NHS is so understaffed and the stress of COVID. And
absolutely.
It's not realistic, but it's such a shame. And actually, what would the impact be on the population if they did spot everything? I'm not sure they'd even want that on a macro level. But it is heartbreaking. And I remember you messaged me, I think the week he got diagnosed, saying, Dad's in hospital and he's been diagnosed. And before I knew it, you messaged me, he was gone. And I was like, wow, I didn't really know what to say, to be honest.
Yeah, it's I mean, the thing with pancreatic cancer is, as I say, the symptoms are very hard to detect for the people that have it. It's
could it be detected though? If like you go and have a blood test or tomorrow, would they spot it? Or like if you
I don't know the answer to that question. I will try and find out the answer to that before we share this.
Yeah, we need to know.
Share that. Yeah, no, I think that I don't know if the answers are on the Pancreatic Cancer Research Fund website. But there is such little research funding. But since 2004, Maggie has raised £14.5 million for 68 projects. And so, because when I've understood the culture in the charity world, because this is all very new to me.
Yeah.
Medical researchers and those that actually are trying to find the cancer cures want to know that they're going to go onto a project where there will be an improvement or an outcome that is going to define their career. And so because pancreatic cancer is so tricky to detect, it's really hard to get anyone to come and actually work on these projects. And I was like, what? Because on a recruitment level, I was like, whoa, you don't even think about that, do you?
Yeah.
So I think one of the main reasons I asked for your help with raising awareness about this event that we're going to talk about is that it can happen to anybody, actually. And although what Dr. Ari is saying is absolutely right, there are definitely triggers that make you more likely to catch or to be a victim of pancreatic cancer. For example, my dad was over 70.
Yeah.
He had previously been a little bit overweight, just rotund, had type 2 diabetes. And his diet, although was very healthy from, in terms of actual food, he did have a sweet tooth. But that doesn't mean that anyone that is fixing all those categories will get pancreatic cancer, but you're more likely to.
Yeah.
But we all know, Patrick Swayze died from pancreatic cancer. Fit, healthy dancer. So the point is, it can happen. I mean, cancer can happen to anyone, right? We all know someone that's not survived cancer. So I think that the fact that contextualizing it, Dad's demise was very rapid. I mean, sepsis is effectively what killed him because it shut down all his organs. It was horrific. But 10,000 people in the UK this year will be diagnosed with it, and that's just 10,000 people too many. So I want to be part of this.
But in a way, though, you almost want more people diagnosed early so we can get it, because the problem is that 10,000, you can't stop it happening. You can only stop you only start to increase the survival rate, really, can't you?
It's all about early detection. Yeah. If it's detected early enough, like any cancer, they can treat it.
Yeah.
It's getting the early detection and it's the research into how. So to answer your question, how to detect it, that's why this fund, rather than, and all those amazing charities out there, Cancer Research UK and all the sort of bigger ones, the most well-known ones, but they apportion, this is what was explained to me by Maggie, they apportion funding according to the likelihood of getting a cure. Wow. That's the reality of the funding. So that's why I'm in this charity.
So let's tell everyone what we're doing and how they can get involved, because it is as soon as you told me, it wasn't like a doubt in my mind. It was more like when and what, and then you've so kindly took the time to plan it all. So I don't think I even fully know what I've committed to yet. So tell everyone what we're doing.
Change the plan. We're doing a naked calendar. No, I'm only joking. That would be delightful.
That might be easier, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be, and I'd probably be happy to do it, but I probably wouldn't have many copies if it was me. No, we are doing a walk because I can't throw myself out the plane. Solo parent, don't really want to throw myself out the plane. So I thought, what's a challenge? What will be fun? What could actually get people involved on the day?
Yeah.
So on the 29th of April, which is the last Friday of April, we are setting off from my home, Ramsbottom. We will be at the very famous Urn, or the Upton. 8:30 a.m. Wow. We plan to set off. So we're going to try and get, people cheering us on. We'll all be wearing our T-shirts. I've got ordered, waving our flags, having a little.
I'll probably stay at my dad's down the road for the night before if you'll have me.
Get a black pudding on the way. We're going to have the money tins that the charity sending, but we're only going to accept notes. I'm not joking. I'm not carrying it all the way with coins in it. And we are then walking along the A56 all the way through Bury, Whitefield, Prestwich, Manchester, Sale, and we're ending up in the beautiful town of Altrincham. Which is where Laura, my business partner, lives. So we thought it was a very nice 20-mile walk. We anticipate if we keep a good pace, it will take till about 4 o'clock. And we want to get as many
8 hours of walking-ish.
Yeah, we'll do it. The biggest challenge for anyone that's ever done a walk rather than a marathon is not needing to go to the toilet. So
you can't drink much.
You can. You sit. That's my little. I have previously done a 37-mile walk for charity. I walked from Blackpool to Bury in 2017.
Wow, that is a long way.
The biggest, apart from the fact I think I raised about $4,500 that day on my own for the Super Josh Brain Tumour charity, is that I only did 2 W's. So that is going to be the biggest challenge. But we can stop off on the way. If you've got anyone listening that's a client that's going to be in the office that day and you're on the A56, or that we don't really want to come off the A56, it's the main road from Bury into Altrincham. Come and say hello, come and stick some money in the tin, come and give us a brew, a cake, something to keep us going.
Have we got a funding page though? Because we're not relying on notes on the day out, surely.
No. We've gone for a punchy figure. We're going for $5,000, which I think amongst the recruitment community, come on guys. We can do it. We have a Just Giving page, and actually it's my dad. It's actually the last photo of my dad taken in October 2021, and he passed away on the 21st. So it's a gorgeous photo of him. He looks really happy. And it's a Just Giving page, so it's as easy as anything. Please remember to gift aid. Obviously, you know the drill. So we will be sharing that with this podcast, and as little or as much as you want to give. But we do want to get people involved. We want you sharing this fund and getting involved on the day.
Well, I'm going to start it off with 500, so I'm going to put 10% in straight away, and then we're on the way. We're on the way, and I'll be posting a lot about it. Hopefully, like we managed to get 40,000 for laptops, which I know that was more of a current impact on everyone. So I don't estimate it'd be the same. And I think with what's going on in Ukraine, which is devastating,
absolutely.
There'll be a lot of people already putting themselves into it. But $5,000 with the network we've got, I hope it's the people of the Northwest, our home city, come and step up, put some money in. Look, I'm really excited for it. Obviously, with all the running I've been doing, I'm looking forward to the actual walk as well. I think it'd be great fun.
The biggest challenge is coming out of Ramy. We have got a really steep hill, but then it's totally flat.
Manchester's flat. Like I'm living in Sheffield now, and I'm
not going to take you up Holcombe Hill. Don't worry. And just hope that the Manchester weather holds out for us.
Oh yeah.
Spring.
Do you know what? April's a good time. Like thinking back in the UK alone, like end of April is typically quite good. A couple of years ago, 2019, I went to Manchester end of April, Emma's birthday, and we went out in the Northern Quarter, and it was roasting. So gorgeous. I'm not sure I want it roasting, but I'd love it. No,
I don't want it roasting. Just dry is good. Yeah. To be honest with you, but we can stay in the shade and definitely. I mean, look, I'm really pleased that you brought that up because when we booked this event, nobody would have forecast what was going to happen with Russia and Ukraine, and I'm absolutely heartbroken. And I actually only found out this week, actually, by my cousin, who is actually going to hopefully join us on the walk, that my dad's dad, who escaped the Nazis in Poland in 1939, his family were from the Ukraine, and I did not know that. That's very typical in Jewish family trees. You kind of lose track of where, because obviously a lot of it got destroyed.
Mine's Irish. God knows they're all over the show.
Yeah, so I do appreciate people are probably, you know, overstretched at the moment if you've been donating or you've been doing anything like that. But even, you know, seriously, a $5 or a $10 by the amount of people you and I must know.
It'll add up. Have we got the Just Giving page ready now?
Let me see if I've got it on my phone. No, but I'll send it so you've got it.
Yeah. So guys, we're going to make sure it's connected. If you look at this podcast now, either on YouTube, LinkedIn, Spotify, iTunes, just look at the write up below and you'll see a link. Click on the link. Please make a donation. Like I say, as small or as large as you want. It'll all add up in the long run. I might try and rope a few more people in to do it with us. I'm going to have a look at who I can get involved. But either way, we're going to be filming. We're going to be posting about it. There's going to be loads happening. We've got enough time. You know, we're only early March at the moment. We've got another 6-7 weeks or so to promote this. So I'm hoping the more we bang on about it, the more noise and awareness we'll make. People will recruitment community will step up. I have
no doubt about it. And if you are on that A56 at any point between Ramsbottom and Altrincham and you want to join us for even like walking some part of it, you know, walking from White to Manchester, please let us know.
Where do we go through in town then? Is it straight down?
Straight down Deansgate.
Yeah, we go down Deansgate, don't we? So loads of recruiters around there.
Come on, seriously. We know it's a Friday, so the chances of you being in the office, but come on, this will be amazing fun. And we are actually going to finish off at one of our clients in Altrincham, and they've promised they're going to put on a full spread.
Few beers.
Yeah, whatever you feel like you need after walking 20 miles, they will provide.
Well, I don't drink much anymore, but I think 1 or 2 beers would be lovely after that. I know you don't drink, but I think I'll be well on my way after 2 beers after that.
I'm just hoping that they can put on a foot spa. In fact, it's my next call after this, foot spa, you know, a little bit of a massage, possibly a shower.
I love it. Well, Lysha, everything will be connected. Guys, thank you so much for listening today. As always, I appreciate everyone's attention. We will consistently be posting about this. Please do share it with other people in your business, in your community. And also think about, I know I'm not just saying this, think about your own health. Can you get checked out? Do you have to wait until something bad happens for you to go to the doctors and have a look? Like at the moment, I'm investigating something myself that there's no pain attached, but I want to make sure for peace of mind. And the doctors think it's fine. But I would never have done that in the past. These days, I'm just like, I'm not taking that risk anymore. Like, you know, life's too good and too important. Guys, thank you so much. And we'll catch you all again next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, as always, for listening to today's show. I truly, truly hope that you got value from it. That's the only reason I take time every week, is to ensure that my audience, future and existing recruitment owners, are learning from each other to make this industry that I love so much stronger. Today's episode was brought to you by Hoxo Media. I am the CEO and founder of Hoxo Media, and we are the world's leading content marketing and personal branding agency for recruitment businesses specifically. So we are working with over 200 agencies and 2,000 recruiters right now, both managing the brands, producing content, building written, video, podcast content for niche recruitment agencies all over the world, as well as coaching at a desk level individual recruiters in your businesses how to be better on LinkedIn. That's how to brand themselves. That's how to produce content. That's how to use the opportunity on LinkedIn to get traffic to their profiles and turn that into business. We're coaching people all over the world every single day. If any of that sounds of interest, please do visit www.hoxomedia.com or drop me, Sean Anderson, a personal message on LinkedIn. I would love to talk to you. Tune in again next week. That's live on LinkedIn. I'll see you soon.